Hey everyone, my name is Coley. Welcome back to another episode of The Green Room. I just drank a protein shake before this like an idiot, so I hope that my voice doesn't sound too gross. It was also just brought to my attention that this is the 10th episode already. Probably should have uploaded more. Oh well. Anyway, today I want to talk about something that I feel like does and doesn't get talked about a lot, and that's giving more credit to yourself. And I mean, people do talk about it. I guess I just don't like the way that they talk about it. You know, it can feel very cheesy, and you know, sometimes it could sound like you're making excuses for not pushing yourself to do something that you should, but also it can just sound very mean, and I don't know how you can live a life by always being mean to yourself, you know? Like thinking on the opposite end of the spectrum. And I mean, if either one does good for you, then that's great, I guess, but that just doesn't work for me. Because I'm the kind of guy who always has to have something to improve. And if I could just improve this one thing, then I'll be content. And then there's always one more thing. And that's because I don't really think about the past, which I think I need to start doing more often. And that might sound crazy because, I mean, for most people, and myself included, maybe we spend too much time looking in the past, you know, lingering over our mistakes, thinking about how good life used to be and how bad it seems now. But that isn't the only way to look at the past. I mean, we've accomplished great things too, and if you can accomplish those things, then you can accomplish a bunch of other things too. I think this is one of the best things you can look at to help you keep moving forward and prevent you from burning out or feeling lost. I just started thinking about this because I'm making like one really big video that will hopefully come out this month on my main channel, and I've been working on it basically every single day for like 6 months now. But a few weeks ago, I got sick, and when taking this break from working on the video, I fell into this huge burnout. Me working was sort of serving as a way to distract myself from how I was feeling emotionally and everything going on in my life, and I wasn't very happy. I was sick of continuing this work, and I've spent so much time on this video for literally like no reward. I think the video is going to suck. I don't think anybody's really going to care about this video. There's a lot of self-doubt talking going on in my head. But I was also just annoyed and envious. Seeing everyone around me seemingly do so much better, so well. They're accomplishing things every single day, but I'm just always crammed in my room, working on this thing no one has seen or maybe will ever see. I got no reward or feeling of purpose when working on the video, because the reward comes when the video is like actually done, when it's complete. But, you know, it's been a long time with no reward. And I was talking to my friend about all this, and they pointed out this fact to me that I never really am able to pat myself on the back and congratulate myself for when progress is kind of made. Being able to do that is what helps you move forward, because, you know, when you're rewarded, that helps get you engaged with the process, and when you're engaged with the process of whatever you're doing, that's what separates you from the rest, and that's how you're going to go far. And I've known deep down that this mentality I've developed isn't very good, but now I'm really seeing the consequences. But you know, how on earth could I get out of this? I mean, if the reward comes from finishing the work, that's the work I don't want to do anymore. But I've spent so long making this video, for me to just half-ass it or to quit, like, I don't want to do that. So what can I do to pick myself up and be excited about what I need to work on? Well, I decided to do something strange. I wrote a list throughout the day of every task I accomplished, instead of a list of every task I still needed to do. And you know what? That was probably one of the best ideas I have ever had. I was astounded by how much I did in a day. I thought I'd put like 2 things on the list, you know, maybe. By the end of the day, I had 8 things on my list. And it felt like a pretty normal day, all things considered. But that shows we can do so much more in a day, and often our accomplishments, we just gloss over them. Like, I work out almost every weekday. I enjoy doing it. And so I never really considered working out to be a victory in a really long time. I'm always thinking about how much more I should lift or stretch or do whatever. But then, putting it on the list, I was like, wow, I did do that today, huh? Like, I could have stayed in bed and slept in, not worked out, but I did it. And even after I did that, I did all of these other things too. Every day, there's victories that we make. And sure, what you consider victories can be different for anybody, but listing what we do in a day can show us just how far on track we are. Like getting out of bed in the morning, that could be considered an accomplishment. You could have slept in and ignored your responsibilities. Brushing your teeth, going to work, getting that paycheck, sitting, thinking about your life, all of these things could be considered victories. And things on the list may not be anything huge in the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, it'll add up. Like one workout won't do anything massive, but a month's worth will. And I want to see every single one of those victories every single time, every single day. And this is actually the entire premise of Atomic Habits, which is that one book everybody yaps about on the internet. Every brick in the stone tower is important, and you can build high enough to reach the stars. And seeing every accomplishment helps kind of gamify life because it's fun to see how much you can do in a period of time. I guess that's why I really like speedrunning, now that I think about it. Anyway, if you feel similarly, I implore you to try and make a list of everything that you do in a day and really reflect on it. It's easy to see what you could have done or improved, but really look at those victories and just be proud of them just for a moment. Like bring attention to the things that you actually do in a day, not what you think you've done. I think a huge problem we can have is to look back at something based on how we feel about it and believe it, not by how it actually happened. It's like the problem with eyewitness testimonies. They get the details wrong about what actually happened all the time. And heck, you are the ultimate eyewitness to your life. Think about how much you might not be seeing. If you write everything about what you did during the day clearly, you might be surprised by how much you forget or ignore when you read it later. And there's stuff you definitely should not be ignoring. This list has also made me realize a bunch of other things about my work ethic and productivity and other habits, and it's way more than I'd be willing to share in a public setting. But I've been nitpicking the things I want to think about in life and finding ways to ignore and cope with the things that I don't want to think about. I think everybody kind of does that, but that's not it, man. It's tiring doing that to yourself. It's not egotistical or rude to be your biggest fan. Don't let your biggest hater be you, because that's not fair. You know all your moves, and it's really easy to make it so that every punch you throw hits. Listen, I'm like the number one guy to say it's important to learn from your failures and to try your hardest, but you gotta congratulate yourself on the victories you make. It's a balance, I think, and focusing too much on one is not good, at least for me. I think I focus way too little on the congrats side of the scale. It's probably a common thing to do. I feel like it's a common thing to do. So yeah, make that list, write down all the things you did in a day. I think you might be pretty surprised, I think you could be. I think it's possible. Or, if you're not happy with it, that's okay. Then you kind of know what things you got to change. You got to have that honest conversation with yourself, But I don't know. I'm not a motivational speaker, I guess. I don't know. I just found this very cool, and it's really helped me get out of this little burnout thing. So I just really wanted to talk about it, and I feel like I don't post here. But anyway, I hope you guys have been doing well. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments below. I always like reading how you guys are doing and stuff. I do read the comments. I don't know. It's kind of, I have a weird thing about responding to comments. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.